Okay, here we are. We're just going to look at how we can sketch this curve. We know that it's going to be a form of hyperbola because it has the x on the bottom of this fraction. Now, the question that we're looking at, example 38, if you would like to follow along, asks for the domain and range. The domain, just looking at the x values, what values of x we can have. Well, we can have any x value. However, we cannot have x be equal to 0 because it would result with a 0 at the bottom of this fraction, and that's undefined, so we can't actually have that. It's not a real number. So that's our domain. Our range is where it gets a bit different. If we have a look, what y value can we not have? What won't work? Well, I find it easier to just rearrange. So we want to get x to be the value. So we have y is equal to 1 on x plus 1. If we take 1 away from both sides, we have y minus 1 is equal to 1 on x. By multiplying x by everything, we have x on the outside of y minus 1, which is equal to 1. And if we divide both sides by y minus 1, we'll be left with x is equal to 1 over y minus 1. We can see here, now we know what y can't be. In order for this to be 0, y has to equal 1, because 1 minus 1 would be 0. As a result, that is our y value that we can't have. So that lets us sort out our range. From this, we're able to actually find our asymptotes as well. As x can't equal 0 and y can't equal 1, our asymptotes are, of course, x equals 0 and y is equal to 1. Next, we have to find our x and y-intercepts. As x cannot equal 0, there are no y-intercepts. But y can be 0. So let y equal 0. As we've rearranged this already, we can just substitute it in and see what we get. X is equal to 1 over 0 minus 1. Therefore, x is equal to 1 over minus 1, which is equal to negative 1. Now that we have our x-intercept, we don't have a y-intercept, but we know that we don't. We have our asymptotes we can graph. Now we're going to graph our asymptotes and hyperbola. First, we need to establish our asymptotes. So asymptotes are when x is equal to 0. So x is 0 here. I'm going to put it slightly offset so you can see that there is an asymptote there, but it's truly on 0. It's just so it's easy to see. And then our y is equal to 1. Now we have our asymptotes, we can graph our hyperbola. Now you can use a table of values however you want, however just the general gist of how the graph is meant to look is fine. Just make sure you have at least a single point. finally we have our hyperbola with asymptotes.